Welcome to Center Heist Productions. It is October 9th, 2024. Please hit the likes in this and the subscribe down below in your right hand corner. Thank you to those who are followers of the channel and supporting it. I appreciate it, but please hit the likes and subscribe. And if you're coming to view, hit the likes and subscribe as we're growing a good, healthy community for the Habs here on this channel where we deal with integral information and stick to factual information. We don't use clickbait. Now, as the title states, it's open. Yeah, I'm kind of pumped and excited. It's opening night for us. Our first game is tonight uh, with the Leafs in town. And he kind of mixed emotions. We're all excited to see the season begin. But there are mixed emotions. Is this going to be a bloodbath? Who knows, right? It's because I will be honest. I expect Reeves to go after Jacky. I just expect it. I don't think it's what should happen. I just hope Jacky keeps his head in the game, and because there is no need for retaliation when, as Reeves even said, Pare should have stood up and took the fight. So, but I just get the suspicion there's going to be that type of move made that he'll go after Jacky. That's my opinion. Let's just hope things go well for Jacky. Um, that's my whole goal. He's just got to think and be careful. And he's just work on his positioning because I'm happy that we're going to get into the next real quick. I made this tape basically just to discuss with you. As the title says, don't panic. I think we're all kind of, we're a bit shocked, but yes and no. Um, when they made the cuts, this is what I wanted to talk about. And then I think everybody's kind of panicked with what's going to happen to Waugh, where he didn't make the roster and got sent to Laval. Well, what I want to say is don't panic, Habs fans. And I know everybody's kind of saying that he deserved to go down. The cuts, I'm in full support of the way they made this roster with the men that were left. I totally think they made the right move. You can see, which was surprising because I think a lot of people thought it was just going to be the regular guard. But you got to remember, people like Pearson and guys like that have moved on, and so they did need to be replaced. Pinard, Pearson. Pinard's injured, we know, but so there were opening roster spots, and we knew it was difficult with the Kapanen scenario, but he brings a lot to the table with his talent. All these kids, though, that were in that group of Kapanen, Heineman, Barry Brule, and Waugh himself, this was a dangerous. Well, how do I put it? They have a lot to learn in their game. There's no doubt, but they all bring something, and I think what I'm pleased about, and I think a lot of us were really in this sense, I'm shocked. In another sense, I'm not, because what I've seen is the Habs actually placed the players that deserve to be there. So I'm very proud in how they did this with Hughes and Gordon and St. Louis, and the staff, whatever, went their last minute meetings. Waugh, unfortunately, didn't bring it to the table in training camp. And when you got that many guys fighting, Kapanen, talent-wise, brought it for most of the games. I think he kind of tailed off at the end there, but also started being placed with. It gets tricky when you start getting placed with guys lower in the column like that don't have the offensive IQ you have. So it's going to make it trickier for him. But he still did all right, and I think he'll be fine. But they're going to make mistakes. That's a given. But it had to happen that these guys get introduced to the team and start making their way on the team, some of these players. So I think, with him going, he would have had to have gone to Sweden. I think that's a good move. Work him into the lineup while Lane's not there, and you can work him because some of these kids have to start making their way on the team. Heineman had an exceptional, both Kapanen and Heineman and Barry Brule, they all had exceptional camps. Heineman finally showed what he showed 2 years ago. He didn't show it last year. It was like he got lost last year, but I think he's just playing the game and he's brought it up a level, and like Marty said, he's put it all together. It's maturity. I think that year, and he said that year in Laval helped him to get used to the game. So I think that was a big move because I think he's going to be a solid plug-in for a checking line. I just think I noticed in this camp he was doing what I wanted him to do. He's taking the body, and he's winning the battles when he takes the bodies. He's winning those board battles, and he's got a good shot if he can, gets an opportunity. He's shown that, and he's been great in this plays. And Barry Bolay shocked me. I mean, he's a little smaller, so I honestly that was kind of a little bit surprising because I thought he was just going to be their fill-in to Laval, but he definitely deserved an opportunity as well. He played well, and I think the three guys bring a little something different. There's going to be mistakes made, but if there's a time to start introducing guys to the lineup, it's now. And I know, I think we all assumed Wall was just going to be there. Well, I think we had the wrong mentality too in some of us because we like him. He's a fan favorite of ours. He's one of mine as well. I don't worry because I think that, like I just said, they made the right move. He wasn't taking camp on as if he had to fight for his job. He was too casual about it, and it wasn't normal. But he's still got an IQ there, and that shows. And, I think it was complex for some of the players being lined up with Anderson's not an easy thing. So that's another avenue. But I think this is going to be a wake up that he needed. It's just like Jack I needed it last year, and Jack I was even on the borderline this year. Now, I'm glad they made the decision. See, the defense, I think the right lineup of defensemen is they called it right the right way. With what Jack I brings, we know because he's, my favorite. Um, but he does have to start working on his positional hockey. But he had a good solid last game after they got that fight out of the way with Ottawa. So that was good, and he had a good solid game in that game. So I think that helped his camp because he wasn't having and really what we all had to remember, he wasn't having a good camp, even though positionally we seen a lot of them making mistakes, and he was definitely one of the biggest ones in positional. That's why I want him to work on his positional. But at the same token, he wasn't being able to show us anything because he kept getting thrown out of the games. So I think, his humorous as Marty made it, where if we could see him for 60 minutes, that would be lovely. So we finally got that in the last game, and it was nice to see he was working for his spot, and he didn't take it lightly. So I do think even the defensemen with Enstrom and Mayu going down, and Trudeau was to me automatic. Although that kid's going to be I think he's going to be an NHLer. He's just not going to make the Habs. We just got too much depth, but he's not a bad guy to go to. Truthfully, to give a crack here and there wouldn't hurt. But anyway, I think don't panic for Waugh, and that's what I'm trying to say to our fan base. I know it caught up some people, and there's some people are going, "Oh, what are they doing?" He needed this. It's a wake up call. The type of guy this guy is. It was the same as what happened to Jack. This will be a wake up call, and when he comes back, then you'll see he'll grab onto this position. And really, I wouldn't even put it into a situation that it's going to be a fight between just the kids. Because what this kind of showed me, and I didn't expect it to go the way I want. This kind of went the way I wanted it to, other than, Wall went down. But I had to agree that he deserved to with the way he was playing in training camp. He needed a wake up call. But he'll be back. I'm convinced the IQ this guy brings, he just needed to be hungry. They need to make him hungry. And I think this move will wake him up, and you'll see a different Wall when he comes back, and he'll be back. And that's what I want to say. There's going to be enough injuries. Let's be realistic, and movement in the roster, even though we see the roster as it is. There's going to be enough movement of guys going up and down. This is just the way they start the season. But I do think, I was pleased because I figured maybe one of these kids would get a crack, and to see three of them getting a crack on the forward groups, that is, we knew it was confirmed, we all expected Hudson, and that was great, um, for the defense core, and that's exciting. And he's on the second pairing with David Savard. But I don't think any of us really thought that all three of Kapanen, Heineman, and Barry Brule would all get in on the lineup, but they did, and with Pizzetta, and Pizzetta not losing a position either. And I think this is a good move. This to me, because I expected maybe them keep one and maybe go with Kapanen because of the Swedish thing. But really, Heineman really deserved to be there, especially he just was solid all the way through. So I was like, it'll be a guy he can, I thought he was going to end up in Laval, just be a call up like Waugh situation. They once they crack it, but he got his, he earned it, and good on him. Good on him, and I hope he stays there because I think he can be a great fourth liner on the wing, bring some grit and a little more talent to it, the fourth line. So what this showed me, and I just wanted to calm. I mean, that's all we're hearing is the Wall situation. Don't panic. Wall's not going to be gone and just his career over. He'll be fine. He needed this for an adjustment, and with Pascal Vincent, I think that's the right guy to get him on track. I think he's going to be totally fine, and he'll be hungrier than ever. He just needed a wake up call because he was just a little too comfortable. So don't panic, Habs fans. He's going to be back. I'm sure of it. He's got great high hockey IQ and will help this team. But what this showed me with the way these three forwards and Hudson is Montreal's management is clearly letting them actually earn it, but they're willing to make the mistakes with these young forwards because you got to be. Instead of going out and looking for free agents that are on waivers. I think this was wise because these guys got to start getting touches at the NHL levels. And I don't care what anyone says. Like I told you I changed what I've seen our projection for the season, and I see us at 82 points tops. I still see us around seventh or eighth. I dropped that too because the Lonnie situation, and I still see big problems with our power play and penalty kill. Which, with if Marty's correct, maybe they're holding out something from us. Well, so we can't. We'll be able to judge tonight how bad those special teams are. But I'd say, Has fans, don't panic. Wall will be back. There'll be injuries, or there'll be movement. Someone will not be up to snuff. There'll be movement. I'm actually rooting for the kids though that it's not them. I think this might be the indication that as the deadline closes in, you'll start seeing them move out the Dvoraks, the Anderson, if they could find a way to get it. Maybe Anderson gets his value up, and we can move him, gets him out. And I hate to say this, but Galley too, because Galley's really he's got the heart. I just think, boy, he's really barely clinging on to what's left in the tank. And there's just kids that look like they have more. And it's not a knock against him. Those are hard fought battle scars he has and wear. So guys like that, basically, those are my main three that they need to move on from. It's if they can, would be nice. And there could be a fourth one. Who knows? We'll see. But I do think, and I will say it again. I mean, I was kind of surprised because I don't think Alex Newhook had a great training camp either. And I do think we still don't have a total second line. We were starting to get there with Lane, but we got to wait 2 to 3 months. So I think that they rotate. I like the way the lineups are set with. The first line is the first line. No change, no surprises. Caulfield, Suzuki, and Slav. And who knows how that? I think those guys are good to go to, but they might have to be broken up here and there to get the second line going. And it could be an addition of whether it's Slab or Caulfield being moved with Doc. You could go either way. So I think that will be something we'll see periodically while we're waiting for Lonnie to get back. And so we don't really have a full second line yet, because the kids aren't totally proven yet. And until they are, you can't say you have a second line. So we had one missing piece, and Newhook's been dropping into that spot. But he's bottom dollar. He's a third liner, and he totally disappointed me in training camp. And I've been saying it all along. He's a third liner. I like his work ethic. Normally, I really wasn't pleased with him in training camp, to be quite frank. I just thought his work ethic wasn't even there totally. So anyway, we're going to see New Hook, Doc, and Armia, and I think that's a good way to start off with. I don't think that line will stay together. I think you'll see the lines juggle, and I believe who did they have there? Barry Brule, Dvorak, Anderson. I'm really surprised they're giving Anderson the benefit of the doubt for the third line, but he's got the size and speed, and let's hope he has a good season because maybe if he can boost his value, maybe then we could move him at the trade deadline. And he does have a great personality, but I mean, if he does boost his value, you got to move him if you got the opportunity. And I think teams, you might get lucky if his value goes up. But then we got the fourth line, Heineman, Evans, and Galley, and I think that's a good line. I think that's going to be a good grinding line, kind of equal balanced talent there, but a good muscle on the wings. So I like the way that's situated, but you will see that those three lines rotated more so. And don't even say, down the road that the first line won't juggle a little bit. Just to maybe have to get the second line going, but then we got to do something with special teams. But I like the Gooley. Well, I expected the Gooley Matheson pairing, and I expected the Hudson Savard pairing, and I think to start the season, um, I'm not totally. I think this is a season where, I mean, even Jacky has to prove himself, but I think Barron more so. I think this is kind of Barron's last shot because he doesn't bring anything. He, with his errors to his game and his softness, this could be it for him. And he's going to have Mayu knocking at the door because Mayu just needs more time in Laval, and I think it'll do him some good. And I do think through this season, you'll see him in the Canadiens lineup somewhere. And we'll see how Barron adjusts as whether he can finally grab and show us something that he's got that spot, and Jackie's got to work on that too. Thankfully, we have Jackie that he's taken that role of the enforcer on, but he's got to work on his positional because you got Jaden Strobel as a seventh defenseman, and he easily could have been because there's a bit of an injury. That's why he's not in the lineup tonight. He right in that training camp. He was definitely by far. He was probably the best defenseman in training camp, to be quite frank, next to Hudson. I say Hudson was tops, and then it was Struble, and then it went down from there. Though they looked the best in training camp. Although Matheson, you could tell, worlds ahead of everybody, in definitely our number one right now. But so that's going to be the case. So I don't think that Jacki or Barron can take anything for granted, and I think more so Barron. It's do or die for him this season, and we'll see what happens. He's got, good skill, but if he can't learn to get out of his own way and get tougher in his own end, we're going to have problems. And our goaltending, I'm not sold on it. Personally, very well, I'm shocked that Dobish didn't get more opportunity. He played better than both of these guys. Monty gets a start tonight. But let's hope these guys wake up and play better because special teams and defensive play has to be much better than last year. And I haven't seen that. And that's why I dropped them. I originally had them going 86. They're to 82 now. And I had them being around 8th to 12th. Now I have them 7th or 8th. And possibly drop them to 5th from the bottom. They're not going to be as close in that wild card race as people are saying. We will be just under it. We will be the last place team in the East. In the Atlantic, sorry. So thank you for joining me. I just wanted to get out there. This is a special taping. You'll have one coming after the game tonight as well. I just wanted to talk about the cuts, and I think they were done perfectly. I think management and coaching made the right moves, and I'm on board. And I just wanted the fan base, because I heard that you could hear the panic in different podcasts. Don't worry, Wall will be back. I'm sure of it. This just tells me Montreal's ready to start introducing and giving the kids their chance to start getting touches to work into the lineup. And it needed to start happening. We got big things coming, so you needed to get that moving. So good on the Habs. Congratulations. Go Habs, go. You've seen it here at Center Heights Productions. Please hit the like, subscribes down below, share it. Leave a comment. Tell me what your thoughts are. Keep it civil. That's what we do here. We respect each other. So thank you for joining me, and we'll go Habs go. I'm kind of pumped. I just don't know what to expect, although be ready. I do expect this to be a bit of a nasty game, and I do expect Reeves to go after Jack Eye. So let's just hope it's handled right, and and that he's ready for that, and he works on his positioning. So, and let's hope we see the special teams shock us. So, till after the game, go Habs go. God bless. We'll catch you in the next episode.